Morning at 9 on AM 860, The Answer.
Maybe it's hours a day spent in front of a computer screen or poring over documents and diagrams. Maybe as you get older, you struggle later in the day to focus on your favorite book. Whatever the reason that you find your eyes tired and that you struggle with eye fatigue, it's time to try Fortifeye Focus. Fortifeye Focus contains the powerful ingredient astaxanthin, a natural supplement discussed time and again among those in the eye care community as a powerful solution for fatigue due to eye strain and blue light exposure. Natural astaxanthin, the key ingredient in Fortifeye Focus, works at the mitochondrial level to support improved muscle endurance and recovery, helping to refresh your tired eyes and more fully enjoy all that you see. Order Fortifeye Focus today at fortifeye.com. That's FORTIFEYE.com or call 866-503-9746. 866-503-9746. 866-503-9746. And at fortified.com.
You've heard about the benefits of omega-3 fish oils. Study after study on the effect of omega-3s on everything from heart health to emotional well-being. Get the most out of your omega-3s with Fortifeye's Super Omega-3 Max, the most potent omega-3 supplement in the industry. Fortifeye's Super Omega-3 Max features one of the highest omega-3 fish oils available, purified and concentrated in a state-of-the-art facility in Norway, allowing for more EPA and DHA combined in the same size capsule. That means you get 50% more potency in every dose without increasing the dosage. Super Omega-3 Max is perfect for people striving to keep their hearts healthy and bodies operating at peak performance. Order Omega-3 Max today at fortifeye.com. That's FORTIFEYE.com or call 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. 866-503-9746. And at fortifeye.com.
You want to take him?
Dr. Michael Lange, board certified physician and certified nutritional specialist, and the founder of the Lange Institute and Fortifeye.
I want to do something today.
Very popular Ask the Doctor program since 1993. I educate you on the latest advancements in natural approaches to eye disease and total body wellness. I'm Dr. Michael Lange, helping keep America fit and healthy.
The Lange Institute in the Villages.
You go in the car?
Fortifeye Nutrition on Mill and Booth Road in Clearwater. Online at fortifeye.com. And listen to Ask the Doctor Saturday morning at 9 on AM 930, The Answer.
Just ran out of drink. Just need some water just in case.
Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 10 seconds.
When it comes to your health, are you seeing the check engine light come on more than normal? It's time to get under the hood. It's time for Ask the Doctor with Dr. Michael Lange. Sponsored by Lange Eye Institute and Fortifeye Vitamins. Dr. Lange is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host as usual for over 33 years. And this is a live call-in show dedicated to you, the listener, the patient, the consumer, the viewer. So no matter how simple or complicated your question is, please don't hesitate to pick up the phones and give us a call. When I say us, Dr. Susan Summerton is my co-host. And also my Ed McMahon in the studio today, believe it or not. Those of you, I'm dating myself. Ed McMahon, remember, used to sit in with Johnny Carson and every now and then and say something, is Dr. John Poser, the plastic surgeon. He showed up in the parking lot like a homeless man out there.
I was very lonely and I saw Mike and I said, please, can I be on the show? And he said, all right, no payment. I said, that's okay.
And anyway, we're going to take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Susan Summerton, who's a board-certified optometric physician, a certified nutritional specialist, and a diplomat and a fellow in the nutritional arena. And she hails from the Lange Institute and helps out at Fortifeye Vitamins. Good morning, Dr. Summerton.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Lang and Dr. Poser and all our listeners out there. Welcome to the show, and we're glad you're here. We have a great show lined up. I've just finished my fresh cup of chicory coffee. So we're here and ready to answer your questions about nutrition and eye care, whether you're sitting there in your home in your favorite chair or you're outside taking a little walk today. We look forward to hearing from you.
And you know, chicory coffee just brings up New Orleans, and we're broadcasting from WRNO in New Orleans. I want to shout out to all my homies in New Orleans because that's my stomping ground. I grew up in New Orleans. So the Jazz Festival is underway. Everybody's going to have a blast. I think we got a few more days left of the Jazz Festival out at the fairgrounds. So put your sunscreen on, a hat, don't over imbibe, drink plenty of fluids, but have a fun listening to all that music. So welcome WRNO again to Ask the Doctor. So it is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, just depending on what part of the world you're actually watching us. You can watch us live video streaming all over the country, all over the world. And we're on the Ask the Doctor network and a radio station in just about every big city throughout the country now. And like I said, it is the longest running syndicated live medical talk show in the country. We passed Dr. Dina Dell and Dr. Hoffman. Remember, because this is live. That's the whole idea behind it being live. All right, phone lines are open, 877-969-8600. That is 877-969-8600. Also, I want to shout out to everybody in Ocala, Florida. That's where I started the first Lange Eye Care location, March 15th of 1993. We opened 3 offices in Ocala. Now we hail from the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida. But I don't know if everybody knows, but the Kentucky Derby is today. And that's Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky. And Ocala, believe it or not, has a lot of horses running in that race. And a lot of those trainers, world-renowned trainers, are actually patients of mine. So good luck to everybody from Ocala that has a horse in the Derby. It's going to be an exciting time. I think Renegade is going to take it, but that's just my personal opinion. What do you think about that, John?
Well, that's on my bucket list to go to the Derby. And I also had some patients that, came from this area. There's a Mars family, other families that have horses. So it's pretty interesting to know people that actually have a horse in the race.
And I think Dr. Summerton is a good idea. Maybe one day, one year, maybe next year, the next year, we'll take a whole crew and we head to the Derby, and we, especially the women, you get that kind of wild outfit with those hats. I bet you'd look good in that.
They do go all out on those hats. But what I didn't realize when I looked up the Kentucky Derby, it's the actual longest running sporting event in the US. So it started back in 1875, which that's pretty amazing for horse racing here.
Wow, that is. And it's a pretty big purse. I think it's a $5 million purse this year. So maybe we need to get into horse racing.
Usually it's raining, but I think this time the weather is good, so it should be a dry track.
It's going to be beautiful. So anyway, if you want to learn more about the Fortifeye vitamin supplements that we develop and do the research for, fully transparent, evidence-based supplements, and our motto is right ingredients, right science, right for you. Go to the website at fortifeye.com. That's Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. And the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins, I'm going to give it to you twice, is 866-503-9746. One more time, a little slower, 866-503-9746. Last week, we talked a little bit about omega-3. We didn't have time to finish it. And I always tell people, I'm pretty famous for saying, if you only took one supplement, it should be a good form of omega-3 fish oil. The lion's share of omega-3 fish oil that everybody buys over the counter, however, is probably not made in the country of origin that you would want and has ethanol attached to the backbone. That's called an ethyl ester molecule. So when you're looking for fish oil, you want to make sure it says RTG form or TG form. That means re-esterified triglyceride form or triglyceride form. That means it has no ethanol in it. So the deal with omega-3 fish oil, there's some amazing studies out there. And I'm not talking about plant-based fish oil. I'm talking about fish oil, not plant-based omega-3. But just quickly, I'm going to review just a few things in 30 seconds. Studies indicate, and these are really good studies now, that if your omega-3 is elevated in your blood above normal, your omega index is probably over 8%, it decreases your risk of atrial fibrillation, prostate problems, macular degeneration, death from CVD. It increases lung function, decreases cholesterol and triglycerides, can help decrease glaucoma progression and actually lower intraocular pressure. It decreases cognitive decline. In diabetics, it reduces blindness by up to 50% in a specific study. It reduces atherosclerotic plaque by 49%, decreases blood pressure, decreases plaque in the artery walls. And for your athletes, it increases muscle synthesis and recovery. And then for dry eye patients, it's one of the best things in the world. Wow, that was quick, 37 seconds to be exact. Dr. Summerton, it's pretty amazing what consuming the right form of fish or consuming the correct form of omega-3 fish oil can do.
It is, and all those benefits. That being said, there was even a study that said simply having those higher omega-3 levels helps you live 5 years longer. So just doing one thing can make such a significant difference on your life, and then you reap all the other benefits. We were talking too about another study that just came out from the UK, and this was a very large analysis, and it was evaluating the mood and taking the omega-3 and the omega-3 levels. And basically, the higher the plasma levels of omega-3, meaning it's going to get absorbed in your system with the good quality omega-3, that it actually simply improves your mood and makes you feel better, which makes sense because that EPA, when you hear about fish oil, it's two molecules, the EPA and the DHA. The EPA is what supports that kind of healthy inflammatory balance, and especially in the brain. And the DHA part of it, that's the most abundant fat in the brain. So we're giving that brain the fuel that makes you feel better. It supports that serotonin and dopamine, those hormones that make you feel good.
Interesting. So now we know that omega-3 can put you in a better mood. Maybe we need to give it to our wives or our husbands, right? Or our bosses. I shouldn't say that. My wife is always in a good mood. She's listening. I don't want a black eye later.
So she is the boss.
So omega-3 is very good, but remember the source is very important. Our omega-3 is made out of Norway, Oslo, Norway. They're the experts at refining and concentrating and doing the re-esterified triglyceride form. So since we're talking about omega-3 last week, we have an amazing deal. And folks, this deal is going to run out pretty quickly. I think we'll run it for another week, maybe longer, just depends. So since this is kind of omega-3 month, we're running a deal where it's a 6-pack of Fortifeye Super Omega or Fortifeye Super Omega-3 Max. You get 6 of these, all right? The 60 count, and it's a 30% discount plus free shipping. You can get that on the Fortifeye website. I think there's a banner up at the front, and you just click on it. It goes right to it. Or you press on any of the omega-3s, and you'll see where you can get all 6 of them. The Omega Max, which is 2,400 milligrams of omega-3, or the Super Omega, which is 1,600 milligrams of omega-3. Take advantage of this. I mean, that's a 6-pack, 30% off, and free shipping. That's the best deal on a re-esterified triglyceride molecule in the United States. I guarantee it. Number one, our omega-3 is cheaper already because our overhead is much less than some of these big companies. There's only a few good companies out there that have them made in Norway and the re-esterified triglyceride form, but they have 200 employees, so their overhead's quite high. You know, we have much less employees, so our overhead's pretty low. So we bring you a better product, more concentrated, and it's pure for a much better price. And right now, at the 6-pack bundle with the 30% off, it's automatically calculated. You don't have to put any code in it. Just go to the 6-pack bundle at fortifeye.com. And these do not expire. I mean, the expiration date's like 2 years out. These are very fresh. They will not expire in 2 years. So if you buy them and you think they're going to expire, you can tell when omega-3 fish oil expires. You hold it up to the light, it's starting to turn brown and cloudy. So it starts to turn brown first, then it gets cloudy. That's rancid. You throw it away. But as long as it's kind of clear and yellowish color, it is very good. So check it out, fortifeye.com, or go to 866-503-9746. Once again, 866-503-9746. That's the phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins. You can also follow me. A lot of you do on Instagram. That's Dr. Michael Lange _ That is the only legitimate Instagram site. There's about 100 fake Dr. Michael Langes that do not have a blue check. We've got about 300,000 followers. That is the only legitimate one. So Dr. Michael Lange _ on Instagram. And also you can follow me on X or LinkedIn or Facebook, YouTube. The YouTube channel, you can watch this video 2 hours from now. And that is Ocular Health channel. So it's Ocular Health, Dr. Michael Lange, Ocular Health, Dr. Michael Lange, or just plug in Dr. Michael Lange, Ocular Health. All right, phone lines are open. We're going to take the first call in just a few minutes. If you got a question regarding your vision, eye care, or nutritionally related topic, give us a call at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Now, talking a little bit about how the omega-3 can help memory, mood. I mean, what does help memory, but mood and emotional well-being. There's some other nutrients that we're going to talk about. And this is an arena that Dr. Summerton is an expert in. I'm an expert in. But we talk about carotenoids a lot on this show, lutein and zeaxanthin. So a study came out not too long ago that lutein and zeaxanthin can help with depression. So our Fortifeye Focus or our Fortifeye Focus and Brain may be beneficial. These carotenoids cross the blood-retinal barrier, helping the retina, but also the blood-brain barrier. And this may be why it's helping with depression. And then another nutrient that's relatively new is saffron. And you were, Dr. Summerton, you were the one that brought this to my attention, the study on saffron. It increases emotional well-being as well. So now we can actually take a good omega-3 fish oil, like Fortifeye Super Omega, a good carotenoid with lutein and zeaxanthin and astaxanthin like Fortifeye Focus. And by the way, the omega-3 makes the carotenoids absorb better. And then some saffron or something like Fortifeye Complete or Macular Defense. And from an emotional well-being, depression standpoint, on a nutritional level, we're doing some pretty good stuff. And then we just got to add some exercise. What do you think, Susan?
I think so. I mean, we all want to preserve our brain health. We want to feel good, and we need to feel good in order to motivate ourselves to live a more active lifestyle too. So one area of improvement in the brain will spill over into the rest of their life and form those good lifestyle habits. And we really talk about lutein and zeaxanthin a lot because those two nutrients, they make it past that blood-brain barrier. The brain uses what it needs first. The brain's going to be greedy. We need that brain. So you need to have enough in your diet. And if you're not getting enough in the diet, that's where we want you to supplement so that the brain can use what it needs and then find its way to your macula. And that's the place in the body where we know it's stored, that little tiny zone in the macula that's responsible for you seeing 20/20 straight ahead. And they act like these internal little screens. They turn yellow and they absorb any of that damaging blue wavelength light that comes in. So we are meant to handle blue light, but we need the nutrients in there so it can protect from any of that degeneration that can happen later in life.
And also living in Florida, the Fortifeye Focus or a supplement similar with the carotenoids in it can also protect the sun, protect from the sun, protect your skin from the sun is what I was trying to say. So it helps, protect against UV damage and even blue light damage. And the astaxanthin also helps protect the skin as well. So that's what gives wild Alaskan salmon its orange color. But those of you that are approaching 40 or a little over 40 or 50 years of age, that's why we call Fortifeye Focus, because it does improve focusing ability. The astaxanthin in it increases amplitude of accommodation. That means it increases the ability to focus or accommodate up close. I mean, I'm 63. I still don't need reading glasses up close. And my vision in the distance is essentially 20/20. I've been on 2 a day for the last, probably 20 years now. All right, we're getting ready to go to the calls in just 1 second. We got a lot to talk about. We're talking about cognitive decline and some ways to naturally help people with cognitive decline to maybe help decrease the chance of you getting dementia and Alzheimer's. So we're going to talk more about that in a minute, but let's go to Steve in Clearwater. Steve, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, this is back in memory time. This is a 2-year-old question which we never got answered, okay? Why is it that if you say that if you put ethyl ester fish oil in a cup, it'll go through the cup, and you attribute that to the ethanol, why is it that other compounds that are esters of ethanol or even ethanol itself do not go through a plastic cup?
You know, Steve, you always ask a lot of questions that make me go, And so I have to think back to my chemistry days. Now, maybe Dr. Poser's sitting there. He's going also and thinks back to his chemistry days. Or Dr. Summerton. All I know, if you put ethanol in a car, in a cup, it will rot a hole through that cup.
But it's not plastic, it's polyurethane.
Right. I mean, I put some ethanol race fuel once in something just to see if it did, and it went right through the cup in a second. So, and we know that if we take fish oil, the typical over-the-counter fish oil, which is an ethyl ester molecule, and we squeeze the contents into a styrofoam cup, depending on the concentration, it'll rot a hole through that cup within 5 minutes, some within 3 minutes, some within 10 minutes. There's a video of me doing it out there on a talk show out of Ocala about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I've got all of the name brand fish oils and then Fortifeye Super Omega. And during the show, the other co-host was saying, look at those styrofoam cups just melting and turning into a puddle. And then the Fortifeye Super Omega never did that. And this is one reason that people get a lot of gastric distress when they take the typical over-the-counter fish oil, because the ethanol aggravates the lining of the mucosal lining of the stomach, and they belch up a funky fish taste that usually smells bad. Because remember, ethyl ester molecule of fish oil goes rancid very quickly because it's very unstable. When they do the re-esterified, it's called transesterification, to cleave the ethanol off and replace a triglyceride backbone the way the liver does on ethyl ester molecules. With our fish oil, they don't have the ethanol in it, so it doesn't cause the belch back. It doesn't go rancid quickly. I mean, I've got fish oil bottles that are 12 years old and still clear and not foggy and not brown. The omega-3 still looks pretty good. But Steve, you should know that answer because you're the genius.
Well, I'm going to actually put full bore on trying to figure out exactly why that's true. And another thing is, remember you said that fish oil can cause atrial fibrillation over 4 grams?
Well, there's some studies out there that were using the ethyl ester molecule then again, and most of this was prescription fish oil, and they're using it for hypertriglyceridemia, and it was lowering the triglycerides, but in certain individuals, it increased the risk of atrial fibrillation. But remember, most of this was in countries of origin I don't recommend, and it was the ethyl ester molecule, and it was a very high level, because there's new studies that show if you're not taking that high level, especially if it's a re-esterified triglyceride form, it actually decreases the risk of atrial fibrillation. So there's a fine line. Remember, too much is just as bad as too little. That's the same thing with vitamin D. If you're deficient in vitamin D, it increases your risk of atrial fibrillation. If you're overly sufficient in vitamin D, it increases your risk of atrial fibrillation.
Okay, and a question for next week. Remember when I called you on the other show, I said to give us a rundown of all the eye injections. Right. Well, there's no time for that today. But on the next show, I'm going to try to really nail down that ethyl ester thing.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And you have a wonderful day. God bless you.
Thank you. And
I can help out just a little bit. It's just simply, it has to be a styrofoam cup, not just a regular plastic cup. And it's simply because they're both nonpolar materials. So it's a way to tell which form of fish oil you're using, whether you're using the ethyl ester or you're using the triglyceride. You break open that little cap, put it on a styrofoam cup or a styrofoam plate. If it's the ethyl ester, that's a nonpolar molecule, and the styrofoam is a nonpolar molecule, and that like dissolves the like, and it will put a hole in it. That way, you know, if you've got that good quality triglyceride form, it won't form that hole right away, and it's a more stable better absorbed molecule. But if it dissolves a hole in it, that means you've got the cheaper, more processed, less stable molecule, and you're not going to get that absorption like you need to raise those levels in your body and in your brain to benefit your heart and your brain health.
And Susan just passed Genius Steve. That's the new genius. Yep, that's exactly right. Susan nailed that. And that is a good test to do to see if you have the good stuff versus the bad stuff. Or make it simple. Just go to our website, fortifeye.com, F-O-R for T-I-F-E-Y-E, fortifeye.com, and look at all the science on these omega-3s. You know, we did a pilot study where we took blood samples from patients and did omega index study and proved that literally almost 100% of our patients took the super omega as long as they weighed less than 240 pounds, and their omega index went between 9 and 11%. And you just have to get to 8% to get to the heart health benefits. So we've actually studied the therapeutic efficacy of the Fortifeye Super Omega and the Super Omega-3 Max. Remember, if you only take one supplement, take a good omega-3 from fish oil, not krill oil, not squid oil, not green mussel, not flaxseed, not perilla oil, not chia seeds. Take it from fish oil. That's where all the studies are. That's where all the science is. All right, let's open up the phone lines. If you got a question, give us a call. 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600. And I want to talk to Dr. John right here. Poser real quickly. You know, a lot of people have had plastic surgery from Dr. Poser over the years. You've been practicing even longer than I have in the area. So in Gainesville, Ocala, the Villages, and we miss you. Tell everybody you've been down in Miami and you've been like a plastic surgical machine down in Miami working.
Well, I stopped my bigger practice in Gainesville, and I still have my office in Dr. Lange's building in Ocala and do minor facial procedures. But I joined a group that actually does kind of in mass body reconstruction for weight loss. Somebody comes in and they have saggy arms, saggy inner thighs, breasts. We do all those kind of repairs, and that's all we do over and over again. So we're actually kind of a group of experts in that area. We don't do a lot of facelifts anymore, things like that. And there's about 12 of these. They're called MIA. They're about 12 through the country, and they're pretty sophisticated operation. Everything's computerized. It's almost foolproof, and it's the first place I've ever been where they're totally under control.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. You know, of course, as doctors, you have to be efficient because of anything that may happen with patients. You want to have proof that you did the right thing. So with the computers out now and AI, they have it so that it is totally efficient.
Yeah, Dr. Poser's AI assistant does everything. He just has to close.
Yeah.
That's how he does 200 facelifts a day.
That's right. I got a lot of help, put it that way. I was going to bring up 2 points. Number one, fish oil. Embryologically, we actually have gills when we're 3 months old. And also, the seawater is the same as our blood as far as the amount of salt in it. And then I was going to tell Mike, if he could tell the patient or people here, for dementia and the fish oil, you can actually look in the eyes now and see plaques and bodies that may indicate that you do have early dementia. So that's one of the very good tests now to predict if you're going to get dementia in the future. Maybe Mike could go into that a bit.
Absolutely. We have some really cool technology at the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages that we use that looks at all the arteries, looks at the tiny little capillaries. We now have OCT angiography that looks at the capillaries underneath your retina. This is the tiniest blood vessels in the body underneath your retina. And we can see if anything's going on with that. And also we do something called autofluorescence that looks for metabolic waste products called lipofuscin in your retina. And if it's in the retina, it's going to be in your brain and you're more prone to be getting dementia. And also we look for cortical cataracts and we look for drusen. These are 3 things that increase your risk of dementia and cognitive decline that we see in the eye. A cortical cataract, a specific type of cataract, a drusen, a fatty yellow deposit in your retina, nerve fiber layer thinning, and of course, lipofuscin buildup. And if we see that, then we can, in the early stages, we can put people on something like our next gen curcumin that can reduce beta amyloid plaque and lipofuscin if we catch it in the early stages. Obviously, put people on the proper diet, the proper supplements, an exercise regimen. If they're overweight, we got to get them to lose weight. And that's something Dr. Summerton and I do at the Lange Institute all the time. We counsel patients on their diet and on weight management and on the supplements. And Dr. Summerton, I think that's what kind of sets Lange Institute apart from the typical optometric or ophthalmological practice, because we're using, sort of a holistic twist. We practice mainstream medicine, as, of course, prescribe medications and do procedures and things, but I think the nutritional twist really sets us apart.
Right, because we know that it's not just the eyes. People have heard the saying, the eyes are the window, and it really is. It's a really non-invasive way to get a peek of what is going on inside the body simply by dilating that pupil becomes like an open window where we can look at those blood vessels. Those blood vessels that we see directly are coming from the brain. Those are endings of your brain blood vessels. And what's nice is even if we don't see anything wrong, which we hope we don't, we've got a nice baseline that every single time the patient comes in, we can look for any little subtle changes. And with AI developing the way we have it now, once we have that baseline, any little microscopic changes that could indicate cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, those will start showing up in the eye. So in the future, we really have a lot coming that we can analyze from just simply that retina scan.
And we're going to expand a little bit more on natural ways to help with cognitive decline. But let's give the phone lines 877-969-8600. Give us a call. Consultation is free. 877-969-8600. So probably the most studied ingredient or nutrient on the planet is omega-3. The second most studied probably is something called creatine, all right? Creatine monohydrate. Creatine, the best creatine, bar none, is Creapure creatine. I don't get anything for saying this, but Creapure creatine is tops. It's made in Germany. It's the purest. They do all the studies with this. But creatine has some amazing benefits for the brain, for cognitive functioning. So creatine consumption can actually improve logic, numerics, language processing speed, reaction time. It can help reduce dementia and cognitive decline as we age. So not only is it for the muscles, so certainly creatine is great for the muscles. It helps with power. It helps with strength. It helps with muscle synthesis at just about any age. But you got to look at the creatine. It's kind of like the omega-3 and the whey proteins. Most of the things are adulterated and polluted. I've seen some creatine on the market that's Creapure creatine, but then what they do, they actually add sucralose to it and add artificial flavors and artificial colors. And David Snow, who hosts the talk show right before me and right after me, also a great talk show host, brought this to my attention recently. He had found one that at one of the local vitamin shops and said, wow, they got Creapure creatine in it. But then we looked at the other ingredients, it's polluted. So our creatine, we add MyH&B and vitamin D, and that's it. We have no flavor. It's unflavored, no dyes. Something to think about for yourself to build muscle and strength, but also for cognitive decline. Dr. Summerton, we both take creatine, and I noticed that since I've been on this new form, my strength is better. My endurance is better. And, we want to do that as we age, don't we?
We do, and they've really looked into these brain studies. I mean, athletes have been using creatine for years and years, but just recently they've kind of focused on what creatine actually does, and it helps replenish ATP. That's in charge of like the energy. Well, it's not just energy in your muscles, it's energy in your brain. And they even had an interesting study. If you're sleep deprived, whether it's just you had a restless night or jet lag, that once you need that sleep to replenish your brain energy. So if you have been sleep deprived, whether you've come back from a long trip or you just had a stressful day and you didn't sleep well, they've proven that taking that creatine can actually help replenish the ATP for your brain and then help your brain and kind of your cognitive performance. That's how you're thinking improve just from taking that creatine. And since we're kind of on that, like helping with the brain, what I found kind of connecting these two, there's another study that says improving your leg strength helps prevent Alzheimer's too. So you're going to take the creatine that's going to help with that brain energy. And if you want, you're taking it to build that muscle in your legs. You obviously have to exercise the muscle to build it, but you give the muscle more energy with the creatine, use the muscle to build that strength. The stronger your legs are, the less chance of Alzheimer's.
Wow. That's a cool study. And if I recall, it reduced the risk of Alzheimer's by 47%. That's
Yes, it
huge.
was huge. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, and I think leg presses. So, a lot of you can't do squats because you have bad knees like me, but I can do a leg press. And I think it was 3 times a week. So, doing a leg press 3 times a week reduced the rate of Alzheimer's by 47% because Dr. Poser and Dr. Summit, it acts like a pump. Your thighs are the biggest muscle in your body, and it's acting like a pump driving blood to the brain. Now, think about it. You add the creatine, MyH&B, vitamin D, and maybe add that to a whey protein and just shake it up or mix it up. That's going to help you get a better workout, have more strength, and doing those leg presses are going to reduce the risk. It's kind of a double whammy against fighting dementia. Then you add the omega-3 or eat some wild Alaskan salmon and take something like Fortifeye Focus or the lutein and zeaxanthin, and man, we're going to live forever and think well forever. Be 110 and still have cognitive abilities of a 20-year-old.
Hey, we better take that and go back to medical school and really shake everybody up how smart we are again.
That's right. So something for everybody to think about. God made a pretty good body, and as long as we give it the right fuel, our body can perform at optimal levels for a long time. My mom's 98 going on 99 and still performing at optimal levels. Betty Ruth.
She's great. She's a Southern charmer growing up she's from New Orleans. And your dad met her. He's from South Dakota. Actually, I went to medical school at the same medical school he went to. I probably sat in the same chair.
Right.
But was she from New Orleans?
She grew up she was born in New Orleans, but they moved to Montgomery, Alabama. And she grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. That's why she has that Southern twang.
Yes, well, a great accent.
All right, phone lines are open. Give us a call at 877-969-8600, 877-969-8600. And if you want to see Dr. Summerton or myself or Dr. Lori Caputi, then you can come to the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida, state-of-the-art eye care center, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Gainesville, Ocala, or Tampa. And we do have a lot of patients in Ocala that come to the Villages, to the Lange Eye Institute, also in Gainesville and the Tampa Bay and even Sarasota area. So we're located right on County Road 101 and 466, right next door to CVS, across the street from Publix, and the charter school is right across the street. I'm going to give you the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute if you'd like to come see any of the doctors there. I'll give it to you twice. It's 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. And remember, you can also go to drmichaellange.com. That website will link you up to our Lange Eye Institute website, to the Fortifeye website, to all the podcasts and all the social media. So check it out at drmichaellange.com. Also, let's discuss something that will be really interesting to everybody out there that's starting to age. And this is good because we have a plastic surgeon in the office with us. So let's discuss some non-surgical aesthetic benefits around the eyes and for the eyes. So one of the latest and greatest is Upneek. And Upneek is an eye drop you can put in. You can get this at Lange Eye Institute. I think we're the only eye care center around that actually stocks it. You do have to have a prescription, so you can come in and see one of the doctors to see if you're a candidate. Upneek is an eye drop you use, and it treats baggy upper eyelids, sagging eyelids, something called dermatochalasis, and actually it works by an alpha agonist, and it causes contraction of the Mueller muscle, and your eyelids go up 35%. So if you don't want blepharoplasty, if it's not that bad, you can always try, and we can give you a sample to try it. But Dr. Summerton, we got a lot of people with the upneak that do quite well and they don't have to have the surgery. But then again, it's a way they can see if it works adequate. If it doesn't, then they can go see a plastic surgeon like Dr. Poser.
Right, and we know it's not just a cosmetic thing when your lids are a little droopy. If those eyelids are drooping kind of past your line of sight below your pupil there, then you may be subconsciously kind of tightening your forehead to see all day. Then you're going to have that eye fatigue and you're going to feel more tired at the end of the day. Plus, if you're kind of tightening that forehead, you're going to get more wrinkles in the forehead, maybe get some tension headaches there. So it's again, we're looking at the whole picture. It's not just obviously we want you to see better and feel better, but we want to do what we can to reduce strain on your eyes too. And then, like you said, if that upneak isn't enough or it loses effect over time, that's when we send you to someone like Dr. Poser to do his magic with that blepharoplasty surgery to remove that excess skin that he can probably expand upon too.
What happens is the Mueller muscle is automatic muscle, and actually, people have myasthenia gravis. That's one of the first things that you see is a drooping eye from that Mueller muscle, which is automatic, unlike the ocular muscles, which are non-automatic. But what happens is you take this uplift medicine, and it increases the tone of the automatic muscle, so it kind of raises your eyelid above the pupil, and you don't have to stress out your forehead where you get migraine headaches, that sort of thing. When, sometimes you have to take Botox. But ultimately, even though it goes up 30%, if you're one of those people that has very, very baggy eyes, the skin is like not hanging weight. So eventually it will wear it down again. So the one reason for, blepharoplasty is somebody who's got severe uh, extra skin in their upper eyelids, which is very heavy, and you just remove that. When you remove it, it takes the stress off the muscle. Plus, you don't get the sweat and everything under your eyelid or between the skin of the eyelids, and that's where the IPL works that Dr. Lange has too. That helps dry up. It's used for red and brown spots in plastic surgery, but it kills the little mites in the eye and also kind of dries out that skin. Maybe you could tell us more about that.
Right. We're going to get into that in just a second, too. Yes, absolutely. We'll talk about Opti Light IPL. That's intense pulse light therapy for meibomian gland dysfunction. It does kill the mites. But something else for the baggy eyelids that's very simple. Remember, this is non-surgical, simple, is a special cream that we've been using. And Dr. Summerton brought it to our attention over a year ago now. It's called One Skin, and it's an eye cream. You simply rub it around the eyes in the morning and the evening, and it does help with a little bit of the lower lid bags. It kind of helps with a little bit of the crow's feet and some of the fine lines and wrinkles. But it works pretty good when we compare it to some of the other ones like Obagi and SkinCeuticals, doesn't it?
Right, it's actually a peptide. Peptides are pretty hot right now, basically just short chains of amino acids put together. The OneSkin uses that OS01 peptide, which can actually penetrate down deep enough, tying it into kind of blepharoplasties. They actually studied it by using that extra skin that was cut off from humans without using any animals, without hurting any people, the extra skin, they tested this molecule to make sure that it does penetrate down deep enough to have an impact. Because I know myself, and I know a lot of people out there have spent thousands of dollars on these beauty products and really don't notice a difference. And that's very frustrating. But this does actually get down deeper to reduce the impact of what we call the senescent cells. Those are those cells that cause the aging and they contribute to that collagen breakdown. So you do need to use it consistently to really notice the difference. It's going to take about 8 to 12 weeks. So just like supplements, it's not going to be you take one pill and notice the difference. You have to keep using it. But if you do, then it helps to that better texture, that kind of modest softening of the lines without kind of those harsh retinoids like that then you can't go out in the sun and it's pretty harsh. This still is gentle enough and have that positive anti-aging effect.
And that's called One Skin Eye Cream. You can actually get it on the website at fortifeye.com, or you can get it at the Lange Eye Institute. It does work. So let's talk about beauty from within now to help with the lids, believe it or not, to help with the fine little crow's feet. So we developed something called Rejuvenate. Took a few years of research. We nailed it. It's delicious. It's gone viral. We've got so many testimonials because it really does work. I'm holding it up right now. Fortifeye Rejuvenate is a marine collagen tripeptide, not a peptide. So it absorbs much faster than a peptide, and you can use a lot less. Only 1 gram is equivalent to 10 grams of a peptide. We also add German hyaluronic acid, rice ceramides, Dermaval, which is 9 superfoods developed by dermatologists to help regenerate collagen and elastin. And we add a little biotin, liposomal vitamin C made here in America, and a mild multivitamin mixture. This has helped my knee dramatically. And it took about 6 months of being on it. But finally, I'm not limping. I've had some bad accidents over the years, broken lots of bones. So I've got some degenerative arthritis in my body. So this has helped better than anything for my knee pain. So it's called Fortifeye Rejuvenate. It helps target fine lines and wrinkles in the face and in the body. So it's good for the skin, hair, nails, and joints. So something to think about. There isn't anything like it on the market. But once again, this is beauty from within. Once again, God made a pretty good body if you give it the right fuel. I like to think this is some of that fuel. This is kind of like the octane booster you're putting in your race car. So think about that. Fortifeye Rejuvenate at fortifeye.com. Now, I want to talk about something that's really pretty cool. And I think Dr. Poser is going to have to come, and we're going to do it on his face because he's a good-looking lad already. But Dr. Summerton and I have used it, and it's made by Luminous. This is non-surgical. It is a procedure, but it's non-surgical. It's called Opti Lift. So Opti Lift uses dynamic muscle stimulation, which is kind of an electrical current, and we can control it, and radio frequency, RF frequency, to help reduce baggy lower eyelids, okay, lower lid laxity problems, ectropion, where the eyelids are starting to come out, and it actually incomplete blinks, people that don't blink all the way. There's a lot of people out there due to whatever, all sorts of health conditions and other problems that have this. And it also helps open the meibomian glands. So it's a great procedure for people that have dry eye, baggy, lower baggy eyelids, incomplete blink, lower lid laxity. We do it. It takes about 10, 15 minutes. It's like a spa setting. It's painless. And you come in for 4 sessions, all included in the one fee. But we've seen some amazing changes in people's dry eye appearance on their cornea because they're able to close the lids all the way. It's been working pretty good. It's something that not many doctors even have at this point, right, Dr. Summerton?
Right. There isn't, unfortunately, many doing it, but it is. We're looking at the cosmetic point that everybody likes, all that you mentioned, reducing that puffiness, softening those fine lines, making your eyes look less tired. But if your lids aren't tight against your eye, every time you blink, it's kind of like windshield wipers. Those lids have to swipe nicely across the eye, spreading the tears out. But they need to have a little bit of a squeeze to initiate that meibomian gland that we talk about a lot for the fish oil contributing to help that meibomian fluid. But we want it squeezed out into your eye. So if your lids aren't touching, or they're not squeezing, you may even fix the glands, but it won't be released. So this helps tighten those lids naturally without any surgical support and make that whole vision clearer so that your tears don't evaporate so fast.
Yep, and it's called Opti Lift. It's made by Luminous. We had the first in Florida. There are more than one in Florida now. And when we combine that with Opti Light, Luminous Opti Light, which is IPL, intense pulse light therapy, it's kind of the double whammy or of helping people with these dry, irritated eyes. So if you do have dry eyes, sandy, gritty, burny, teary, itchy, fluctuation in vision, lower bags, incomplete blink, you know who you are. You've been using artificial tears frequently. You tried every prescription dry eye drop. You've had every procedure. You've done everything, hot compresses, lid scrubs. You've had things like LipiFlow done and Thermal One Touch, and nothing has really helped. It's time to come by the Lange Eye Institute, see Dr. Summerton or see myself, Dr. Lang, and see if you're a candidate for the Opti Lift and or Opti Light, or a combination of both of those. The Opti Lift also helps regenerate collagen and elastin, which is great. And so Dr. Poser knows this because a lot of times, sometimes with plastic surgery, either A, the plastic surgeon didn't have enough experience, or B, something went wrong. And some patients come in and they have taken too much and the eyes will not shut all the way. And then their corneas dry out significantly. So if that's not a bad problem, the Opti Lift can help dramatically, but a lot of times you have to go in and do probably a graft.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not unusual that things are overdone on inexperienced hands. So, for instance, if a man comes in and they raise his eyebrows and they also take up part of his upper lid, all of a sudden he can't shut. So you do have to do grafting procedures either in the forehead or the eyelid itself. The radio frequency, I think, is the one that rejuvenates the collagen, correct?
Right.
So if you can't really use that on somebody who's too tight, because they'll make it tighter, it makes the collagen a little thicker and better yet. Actually, that came out about 25 years ago, and they use it on female areas too, which they want, not just tightening up the eye, was tightening up something else.
Right.
But anyhow, it really works good now, and they get less problems with it. There used to be burn problems. They might have had not regulated quite right, or inexperience with the testing. But now it's a wonderful advent of wrinkles and eyelids.
And the dynamic muscle stimulation actually stimulates the muscle, the orbicularis muscle, so it makes it work better. That's how you're able to get a stronger muscle to close your eyes better. Because remember, you're not working out your eyes. We're working our biceps and triceps, but we're not working out our eyes. So once again, Opti Lift kind of works out the eyes, and it does quite well. I don't think we have time. We got a few people on hold. I don't think we have time for them. We've been talking a lot. And so when we talk about new subjects, a lot of times we don't get as many calls. So remember, check everything out at Fortifeye.com. Check out the Omega 6-pack bundle that we have at Fortifeye.com. It's a great deal. Check out the Rejuvenate, the Creapure Creatine, HMB, all at Fortifeye.com. I do want to chime in about something else that we're running an amazing deal on. A lot of you have taken advantage of it. Losing weight is one of the best things you can do for an aesthetic purposes, getting down to your ideal body weight, not only for your health, but looking better. We developed something called Fortifeye Fit Meal, and it's been out for almost a month now. And we worked on it for 2.5 years. I'm holding it up. So Fortifeye Fit Meal was developed to help you burn more fat and increase muscle while you're losing weight, which is pretty interesting. And a lot of people are doing quite well with it. But we went ahead and combined Fortifeye Fit with the Fortifeye Rejuvenate and the Fortifeye Creatine MyHMB, and we call it the Fortifeye Fit Transformation System. Folks, there is nothing like it on the planet. If you want to lose weight and build muscle and strength, the Fortifeye Fit Transformation System, it's discounted significantly. Check it out on the website at Fortifeye.com. Dr. Summerton, you got a few seconds to tell everybody goodbye.
Thank you, callers, for listening on this Kentucky Derby Day. We hope you've gained some information so that you can always run your best race. Have a wonderful, healthy, high-energy day.
Awesome. What a segue out. Tell everybody goodbye, John.
Nice talking to everybody, and everybody stay safe and happy and healthy. And I appreciate being on Mike's show.
All right, I'm Dr. Michael Lange, helping keep America fit and healthy. We're out of here. Have a great day, and God bless you, and God bless America.